you've got into the spirit of things. You've taken your shirt off.
Shirt off, threw me Noi vest into the corner straight away.
Yeah, but that's good. Perhaps you should, let's just say who that was first. Julian, who's that?
Okay, that was Klaus Dinger, the leader of Noi, after maintaining the Noi metaphor to the max by sounding exactly like Noi 75, punishing it, and keeping on it.
Yeah, and we should say, because you are an acknowledged expert, you've written the book Krautrock Sampling, you're an acknowledged expert on this area of music. Where does it start, your enthusiasm for this kind of German music?
Hallo Gallo, I think, and the first Fast album. Peel played them.
Yeah. Was this when you were like a kid? You got into them?
14.
Yeah.
And because it came from Tamworth, it was one of these situations where it was hard. It was a 116 or a 110 bus, Midland Red, to Birmingham.
Yeah.
But bands like Amondal 2 used to play Colville. And Ashby de la Zouche.
Really?
So it was really useful.
Yeah.
You could get there. So we used to take the Benelin.
Right, good old Benelin.
Benelin.
Do you think kids still do that? Not that we're encouraging it, of course.
X99 to Colville.
Yeah.
And we watch Renata, Knapp Krautenschwanz.
and that's coloured your musical taste ever since then, yeah?
Yeah, really.
So what was that there? Because that's kind of that's almost like a sort of stomping kind of terrace anthem.
Yeah,
wasn't
completely.
It? Yeah.
Okay, well what you got was this. When Noi split up, they suddenly got some success, but they'd gone off, and the guitarist had gone off and joined Cluster to form a band.
Yeah.
And Dinger had formed this band with his brother and two other guys, and formed this band called La Dusseldorf. And then they came back together briefly to do Noi 75.
Yeah.
But really, they were all in this terrace anthem mode.
Yeah.
So if you listen to the Harmonia album, they've got the terrace anthem mode going as well.
Yeah.
It's very much like the same thing over and over. Yeah. Very proto-rotten, I reckon.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah, well, you can say. I mean, when you can hear that you can hear the early stage of. Well, I think Rotten was into them, wasn't he? And all
he was massively into them. Hero is definitely what a problem.
Yeah.
And, it's actually the way that Dinger sings.
And I guess a lot of people forget, I think, as well, that punk rock was as much kind of intellectual thing as it was a jumping up and down thing, wasn't it?
Exactly.
And so they were listening to people like that and Noi, weren't they? And certainly.
Well, I can remember some of the Johnny Come Lately punks going on about in Liverpool. You're always on about cat it's all intellectual stuff. And then what happens? Pete Shelley wrote the sleeve notes for a UA compilation. I'm like, see what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, well,
evidence.
Absolutely. Some of the best early Buzzcock stuff. Really, you can really hear.
Completely, isn't it?
Yeah. Pick another track for us.
So we have let's have Renata Knapp Krautenschwanz.
Let's
with their legendary single Archangel's Thunderbird.
Here we go. I suppose in some ways, Julian, that's the nearest. Well, one of the nearest things that Krautrock or Cosmic music produced to a kind of anthem. It's a classic.
That's the Louis, isn't it?
It is the Louis.
The Louis notes.
Archangel's Thunderbird by Amondal 2.
And the lyric is great as well. It's the idea, lyrically, is the idea that the Archangel himself drives a Ford Thunderbird.
Is that the idea? I know I've never studied the lyric.
No, it's a great one, If you really want to get to places, go in his Thunderbird, because that's the one.
Well, perhaps he does drive a Ford Thunderbird, yeah.
Natch.
And one of the first, again, Krautrock records I ever heard. Well, while we're on this matter, what do you think about the term Krautrock? You used it in your book. Do you think it's politically incorrect? Or do you think it's okay?
I think used wrongly, it's politically incorrect. Yeah. Some people use it as a term for everything German, and then it's politically incorrect. But Krautrock, to me, is like punk rock. It wasn't new wave, it was punk.
Yeah.
And some stuff, like the Cars, could never have been punk.
Absolutely.
Krautrock was stuff that was Refusenick stuff.
Yeah.
It's not the Scorpions. The Scorpions isn't Krautrock, is it? Because then that's really a xenophobic term.
Yeah. While we're on that subject, I was once interviewing for my sins John Bon Jovi, and he said...
That is for your sins.
And he said, because John Bon Jovi got their break on a tour supporting the Scorpions, where apparently they blew the Scorpions off every night. And I said, is that true? And he said, yeah, we kicked their Nazi ass. And I had to take it back, I remember, to the NME and played with the tape and said, does he say what I think he says? Because that's what he said. And absolutely, no one don't deny it, actually. So that's way more politically more politically incorrect than Krautrock, isn't it? So Amondal 2, we should say part kind of political movement, part band? Are you into all that about the Maconie and stuff?
Yeah, the whole trip.
The whole
yeah,
nine
the whole
yards.
thing. You got to have the whole thing, and I think that's what informed the music.
Yeah.
Was the fact that there weren't, how do you get a drum sound? When you're out in the field sort of saying no to everything.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, quite. How do you do it? Well, obviously they achieved it somehow. Should we have something else? Pick something else. Anything you like.
Okay.
You're delving into this fantastic.
I
box of
like
records.
this for the simple reason that this was one of the first things that I bought during punk, and it's Vogel. It's a Vogel single, but it's with Ivor Cutler doing vocals.
No.
And it's so beautiful. To me, it sounds like it's tumultuous the way the Velvets were tumultuous, but also it's called Arschloch. And Arschloch is German for arseholes. And all he is, he's lamenting getting old, and he's just going, oh, the time will come when nobody will steal your, stir your tea, nobody will caress your tool. Arschloch. It's just fantastic.
I think we need to hear into the Freak Zone on BBC Six Music. It's stuart.sixmusic@bbc.co.uk if you want to email me. All 3 hours of today's show devoted to German music. We call it Krautrock. We could call it Kosmisch music. And what would you call that Vogel track, Julian, that you just picked?
I think Post-Velvet's Wipeout.
Post-Velvet's Wipeout. I should say that my guest in this section of the show is Julian Cope, who's brought in some of his favourite German music. And we should mention that your book, Krautrock Sampler, still, of course, available.
No.
Is it not?
No, it hasn't been available since 98. It's been available in German, been available in French and Italian, and the Spanish one's just being done.
Wow, we need to rectify that then. I imagine you can pick up copies on that eBay.
I think you can, probably for between $12.50 and $13.80.
Really? Okay. So, and that presumably for you was a real labour of love, was it? I mean, was it a fun thing to do?
Yeah, it was amazing. Because it was one of those things where I had to persuade my American wife, who thought that it all sucked big logs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Does she still think that?
No, I think she goes with the evidence,
Yeah.
I think it's, she's now an Ashrar Temple, devotee.
Right, okay. Well, that wouldn't be your first foray into print, though, would it? That came after the
It was after Head On. Tell you what it was I'd been on the Modern Antiquarian so long that, rock journalists were at the stage where we were like, well, we can't even mention that book because he's obviously given up on that years ago. That's never happening.
Right.
So I wrote the Krautrock book to just get me something out quickly because I'd always fancied writing a book on Kraut.
Yeah. Yeah.
So really that was the reason. It was easy, pocket-sized,
Yeah.
perfect for the anal retentive young,
absolutely
anorak kid.
And it was the idea of it to share your love of the music, really, and to get more people turned onto it.
Yeah. It was. That's why it said One Head's Guide to the Great Kosmische Music.
Yeah.
Because at that point not much was known about it.
Yeah.
And also people were just having this problem with Krautrock. Well, we should be calling it West German music. And I'm like, no, I'm talking about Kraut.
Reclaim it.
This isn't Birth Control and the dreaded Scorpions.
Yeah.
Even though the first two albums are good, ladies and gentlemen.
We were just discussing that the Scorpions, much maligned. Some of the early stuff's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Klaus Meine's facial expressions, I think, are as much as anything.
Yeah.
But
I think now we associate them with Wind of Change and that whistling gubbins, don't we? That wasn't good, was it?
No, you don't want any of that.
No.
Don't have time for that.
No, we don't do it. We've got time for Dinger, though. We're going to have some more now from... tell us about Le Dusseldorf.
Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, the most important thing that you've got to understand, right, is that in 1996, I appeared on Top of the Pops in a Neu vest, and I was a major Neu head.
Yeah.
And Dinger, who was the leader, was actually the drummer.
Yeah.
Right? And started off as the drummer in Kraftwerk, but was really a guitarist. And Dinger was really hung up about being the drummer. So anyway, as soon as the Krautrock book comes out, he writes to me and he goes, Dear Julian Cope, you are part of an international conspiracy to rip me off.
No.
First, you write a book about Krautrock. You go on Top of the Pops wearing the Neu T-shirt. And I make no money from this. You are making all the money. So I'm like, this guy's my hero. How do you respond? So I put, Dear Dinger, you are a donger. And the only thing you ever did was play the drums in Neu. Piss off.
Well said.
Because he's my hero, you've got
to treat your heroes
treat
like
your
that,
heroes that way.
So he thought that you were being given millions of pounds to wear your Neu T-shirt on Top of the Pops.
Quids in, man. Quids in with the Neu vest.
Yeah, because, Dorothy Perkins don't stock those Neu vests, do they?
My 14-year-old daughters, they've never run out of Neu vests.
But anyway, maybe he's just used to the fact that some people did rip him off. I mean, we were just saying that Bowie was heavily influenced by Neu, wasn't he?
Yeah. The thing is he became so paranoid later that there's a base, because then he formed La Dusseldorf, which was very Neu. Then he formed a band after the Krautrock book came out called La Neu, which was a kind of catch-all of everything.
Of everything he'd done.
And he got I think it was his maternal great aunt to play drums so that she couldn't rip him off.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
And another band of Stereolab, obviously hugely influenced by them as well. Shall we hear some La Dusseldorf? I think this is the actual track.
Yeah, sounds like Neu, you can't miss.
La Dusseldorf by La Dusseldorf. So, Julian, introduce this final one in this half hour. What are we going to hear now?
We're going for the pop hit here. This is Spermol.
Nice,
and this is their single. It's called Me and My Girlfriend.
Julian, tell me who that was. Who was that?
That was Silberbart with the immaculately named 4 times sound raising.
4 times sound raising, as we were saying. Who's the
How
more...
cliched is that? 4 times sound raising. It's so obvious.
That old chestnut of a title.
Come on.
And we were saying, you've got to be impressed not only by the fact that one of the blokes in the band thought that was a good title, but the other blokes in the band
all
said,
in the background, you've got that one,
4 times sound raising.
Yeah.
Catchy.
Nothing down for us with any other title.
I don't know anything about Silberbart, do you? No.
Not
really.
Not really, no. It's a bit of a legendary album in terms of people not knowing much about it.
Not knowing much about them. That track was called Brain Brain. It goes on in that vein for about another 8 minutes or so, I think. But we thought we'd give you a
break. We'll give you a break.
I'll give you a break. And do you since writing the book and since your enthusiasm for this stuff became well known, I mean, do people sort of write you letters now saying, I wonder if you could recommend a list of Krautrock records I could get into? Is it all that sort of stuff?
And people also foist loads of cack on me all the time going, this is just like Amon Dull.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you know what? I think a lot of it is. But I suppose it's quite easy to be like that.
Yeah.
There was recently a brilliant album by Valley of Ashes, an American commune, triple vinyl album. One track was just called Kentucky Chrome. Right. It was people beating things in Kentucky made of chrome.
Right.
And I listened to it and I thought, this is better than all the Amon Dull albums. But the thing is you're not supposed to say that because people are quite ageist, aren't they? It's got to be, it's got to go through the filter of, you're a fight. And sometimes you listen to something that's just clearly really excellent.
Yeah. And do you still, do you ever visit Germany? I mean, I guess you will.
Never. Yeah, avoid it.
Do you?
I never play anywhere or visit anywhere if I don't like the food or find the women attractive.
Right.
Really kind of, because I might get big there and then I'd have to go back to Dosh.
Yeah. It's not great, the food, is it?
No, you've got to make it in the Mediterranean. Because I'm a veggie, so that's good.
Yeah.
And I like exotic women.
Yeah. I remember going to Berlin Airport when I was a music journalist, one of my first trips to Germany, and I made the mistake thinking, I just need something quick to eat, and ordered hamburger, thinking it would come like on a bun, with some lettuce and tomato, not reason because that a plate of raw and bloodied meat would be given to me. And
it's not useful.
It's not. Now, I'm intrigued to hear this next song you've picked because I don't know anything about sand, but I love your description of it. Describe it to me again, the music.
It's kind of ingrown, acoustic, folk with an umlaut over the O.
Yeah.
With a Moog synthesizer player who's on his own trip.
I'm loving it already. Well, that was some of the scariest music I've ever heard, Julian. That was Sand.
Yeah.
From an album called Golem.
Yeah.
And you were saying that in Germany, when you went over there to promote the Krautrock sample books, the Germans themselves, or I'm not saying all Germans, but the Germans, some of the ones you spoke to, were a little bit suspicious of this music.
They were dissing it because they said that it was humorously creepy. To them, they had this kind of like borderland weird accent.
Right.
Where they pronounce words in a way that made general Germans wince.
Oh, really?
Which I think's, that's a success in itself, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And it reminded me a little of The Residents.
Yeah,
it was
definitely. Like Duck Stab or something like that.
It was like music played by sinister yokels.
Absolutely.
There was something kind of, I've wandered into the wrong town here, I think.
Yes.
That kind of thing. I suppose we've got to play before you leave us. And thank you very much for coming in, but we've got to play something from, I guess, would you say Faust are the kind of big daddies of this scene almost?
Yeah,
I suppose
they are.
They are.
Yeah.
And are they then presumably people that you know?
They're people who I've been in touch with for years.
Yeah.
I was the Krautrock book. They were the people who embraced it most of all.
Yeah.
They were delighted, and I think that they really, I think they were just approving, because so many people just ignored Faust. Can was already in our consciousness, but I think Faust was a bit lost.
Yeah, Can are easier to get to grips with, aren't they, if you don't know the music?
They're just a great vibe. They can write songs and they sound like James Brown.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you said that, because I think that's always misunderstood about them. I mean, first time I heard anything about the Happy Mondays, I thought these people have listened to Can. And you can hear that kind of slightly wrong grooviness.
Can were baggy. Proto-baggy.
Can were proto-baggy. And when I got to know the Mondays, and Sean Ryder has lots of Can records, that you can tell that.
Yeah.
Faust are a bit more difficult to get to grips with. Were you part of that generation that bought a Faust,
Faust
those
tapes.
49p records?
I was one of the... I think what made me a git at school was the Faust tapes wasn't the first Faust album I bought.
Oh, that would make you a git. Oh, that's too...
I know, yeah.
Well, what can I say? So we're going to play something from Faust 4. It's Giggy Smiles, I think
so,
isn't it?
yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for coming by,
You're welcome,
Julian.
man. It's great.